So, could we be getting a surprise from Apple later on this year with more news on gaming and Apple actually releasing their first games console in around about 30 years? So, if you've been catching up with Apple over recent years, you will know they've got a big sort of gain here where they want to actually push into the sort of gaming market. We've seen lots of different sort of ideas and actually sort of lots of sort of tech events that they have done showing us that they really want to get AAA gaming working on their devices. And funny enough, they actually have the technology to do this right now. Apple have the ability to, say, make an updated design to the current Apple TV similar to these renders that you're seeing right here, but for example, put a more powerful A18 Pro inside of it and call it the Apple Game or Apple Games Console. But here's a quick little fun fact for you if you didn't know. Something that you may not know is that Apple actually released a games console in the mid-90s called the Pippin. And as you can imagine, if you've probably never heard of it, then you can imagine it was a big flop and it was only around for about 2 years. To put that into perspective for you, that's less than the Sega Dreamcast that only had a lifespan of about 2.5 years. But remember, this was before the days of the actual Dreamcast, and in fact, this was just before the times of, say, the PS1 coming out from Sony, and in fact, Nintendo and Sega were like the big kind of gaming kind of consoles out there right at that time when the Pippin actually came out. Plus, if you know your history, this was the time just before Steve Jobs came back to Apple, so the company wasn't doing its best at that time. But fast forward to the present, in recent years, Apple, like I said, have been really pushing into the gaming kind of market without you being aware of it. So for example, they have claimed that the iPhone is the most used gaming device out there. Or another example is some years ago, we got the Apple Arcade subscription. This is very similar to, say, the Xbox Game Pass or the PlayStation Plus that allows you to download and play games on a subscription service that you pay for monthly. But even for developers, there's been some great new tools added for them to sort of port over Windows kind of games over to Macs. At WWDC 2023 and also in 2024, Apple introduced Metal 3 in 2023, and in 2024 we got the Gaming Portal 2. This tool allows you to move over, say, Windows games, and this can be ported over with all the code and everything, and this can actually work on macOS or iOS or iPadOS with very little tweaks and actually changing much of the original code that the game is written in. And then to further this, Apple even showed us that they're pushing to have even more AAA games coming out on the Mac and other devices like Control or Assassin's Creed Shadow and so much more. And remember, last year we even got the release of Resident Evil Village. Okay, it doesn't work perfect like as well as a high-end PC or even say on a PlayStation 5, but it does work and it is quite playable. One other big factor that I would say that Apple changed the market with gaming was the A17 Pro last year. This got introduced into the likes of the iPhone 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max, and this allowed us to play Resident Evil Village on your phone. And then the M3 and even the M4 series, they have ray tracing built in, pushing out gaming capabilities even further. We could even see one day GTA 6 in some shape or form on a Mac or even say the Apple Games Console if the tools can support it. So as you can see right here, Apple definitely have the kind of tools and the abilities and the chipsets, as it were, to make a games console right now what could definitely work for us. Now, one device that is due an upgrade very soon is the Apple TV. The current Apple TV has an A15 chipset inside of it, and this was the same chipset that we got in the likes of the iPad mini and also the iPhone 13 models too. But like I said, the Apple TV is due a refresh. We've had this design and we've had the A15 inside of this, like I said, for about 2 years. So definitely we could do with an upgrade inside there. And maybe we will get this with a brand new design. If Apple were to say put the A17 Pro inside the Apple TV, you can imagine that this would be possible to do gaming on your TV. But the great thing is, we already know that the A17 Pro is so last year, as it were, that we're getting an A18 and an A18 Pro coming in 2024. As you can see from these leaks right here, the A18 Pro could be going in the likes of the new iPhone 16 Pro and also the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So you can imagine if this chip is already being manufactured right now, this could easily go into the Apple TV. And at this stage, I know what you're thinking. Will this Apple TV or this Apple gaming console pump out 4K 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second kind of gaming on my 4K TV? And I think the simple answer to this, it would be a no at this stage. But what Apple could do is use upscaling abilities using Apple Intelligence or other AI abilities, very similar to how NVIDIA Shield works right now, or even how DLSS works, for example, with the latest graphics cards from NVIDIA. Apple could use the Neural Engine to make this work from the A18 Pro to upscale. So this would give us at least a 2 to 4K resolution, or maybe even more on generic games that do not require high performance. These could actually run at 4K natively. I think the only other kind of change that we'd have to see is that obviously Apple would have to up the storage inside of this gaming console. We'd have to go up to at least 512 gigabytes, or the ability, as you can see right here, we would have a USB-C port and we could actually plug in our own external hard drives to put games on that instead. So next of all, let's talk about the release date, but just before we talk about that, let's talk about the giveaway that we're doing on this channel right now, and it is for this. This here is an iPad Pro, and this here is a 13-inch model with an M4 inside of this. And I'm going to be giving this away to one lucky subscriber at the end of September time this year. And all you have to do to enter into this giveaway is just be a subscriber on this channel and put down in the comments below of what Apple gear, what technology gear, whether Apple related or not, that you're hoping to still get in 2024. Put it down into the comments below right now. And like I said, I am giving this away to one lucky subscriber, so if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell, because near the end of September time, I'll be making a video giving you even more details about the giveaway. There'll be a little form to fill in too, and things like this, and I'll also be telling you when we'll be doing the live stream of this iPad Pro with an M4 and the 13-inch model, and who that lucky person will be who will get their hands on it. The other cool thing I want to show you is that I'll also be giving away one of these with it too. This here is a Magic Keyboard, so that lucky subscriber will get the Magic Keyboard with the 13-inch iPad Pro to get them started, ready on their journey with it. So this will be really, really awesome for them. The other thing I just want to quickly say to you guys is sadly there are still lots of scammers and spammers out there. People impersonating me still, telling you to WhatsApp, Telegram, Vibe, Instagram, things like this, telling you to part with money, to pay for postage, things like this. This is not me at all. I'll be paying for the postage and fees and things like that, taxes. So best thing to do with these guys is just ignore them, or better still, you can see right here, please do report them. So then, next of all is the release day. And the big question is, will Apple do one of those big famous one more thing moments later on this year in 2024, announcing the release of the new Apple Games console in the form of a Apple TV design? Well, what I will say is there's no official leaks from Apple right now to say that an updated Apple TV is coming. But like I said, it is definitely due a refresh. Apple tend to update their Apple TVs kind of every sort of 2 years or so, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less than that. And this is definitely due a refresh this time round. And if we do see a new Apple TV or games console, then it would be announced later on this year. And most likely it would probably be at the Mac event in October or November time. And the main reason behind this, because in September we have the Apple Watch and the iPhone event happening right there. And to be honest, there's enough kind of products being announced at that event, so to squeeze in one of these two, it's just going to take a lot of effort to do that. So this is probably not going to happen. But what I would say then, in conclusion for everything in this video, that is that Apple definitely have the means and the way to make a games console. They definitely have the chipsets, they definitely have the tools, and it's just a matter of time now to enter in with a dedicated kind of console out there for you guys to have underneath your TV. Even with the A18 Pro inside of it, I would say we could imagine that the target price for a console like this could be about $250 to $300, and this would have, say, 256 gigabytes of storage in it. Remember, the current Apple TV, what came out in 2022, this has the A15 inside of it, and this started at $129 from Apple. But there again, as time has moved on, you can even pick up, say, the Apple TV for less than $100 sometimes on Amazon or kind of other deals out there right now. But the main thing is, I think that an Apple games console is on its way, as we have seen today. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think Apple should release a games console, or do you think they should leave it to the likes of with Windows, Nintendo, PlayStation, Microsoft and Xbox? What do you think? Do you think they should enter the space? And if they did, would you get one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that as well, guys, it's time to wrap up this video. So if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. Also, you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews, and comparisons too, make sure you subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell. Until next time, guys, I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye bye.